Hi, doctor. Here is the data set that we have choose to do for our assignment. So this data set is about the crime by district and crime types. And this data set is collected by the PTIM Malaysia. Here is the R interface. So for the first, I have downloaded the data set to my PC, and here is the data set location in my PC. And I load the data set into the variable called crime data. So next, I do some data exploration on the data set. Like I'm using the head crime data to view the first few rows of the data set. Like this, it displays the first rows. And then I do the view structure of the data using the string crime data. So it will list out the data type to each features, like the state, history, category, type, and dates. And this features is belong to the collector type, and the features for crime is in integer. And then I use the view of columns names crime data to view the features. They have totally have 6 features in the data set. And I use the min and max to find the crime. What is the max number for the crime, total of crime, which is 90028. Then I do the summary of the data. It shows that here is the summary of the data. It shows that it totally have 19152 row, which the instant it has in the data set. And the first quarter and the third quarter of crime data. Then I do some exploration. After I do some exploration in the data set, I found that there is invalid value in the data set because like the features state in the state, it has some value about Malaysia. So actually Malaysia is not a state, it's a country. So I assume that is an invalid value. So I turn this invalid value to the missing value. Then the other invalid value for the is also for the district, because for the district there are some value for all. There is not a all means for the district. All means it will the amount of the maybe the crime data for the district, and it sum it all to the data. So it is invalid value, and I also turn it to missing value. Then goes to the type of the crime. So after that, I do the after I turn those value to the missing value, I use the remove the row with NA values, means that I delete the entire row which has the missing value, and I do the summary crime data again. And finally, we can show that original it has about 19 something data set. After I remove the invalid value, it left 14976 data sets. So because the data that has invalid value is a small amount, we can directly use the delete the entire row. If the big amount, we need to use the imputation method. So in this case, I was use the delete entire row to handle the missing value. Next, I am doing the data description by using some plot, like the bar plot, histogram plot, this, and also the line plot. So here show that the bar plot for the total number of crime by states. So we can show that the state Selangor have the highest amount of crime value in the X year. So this data set is 8 years, totally 8 years. Yeah, and the lowest total crime is at police. Next, I also do the line plot for the total number of crimes per year. So we can show that from 2016, it has a peak, which is the highest total number of crimes per year. And after that, after towards to 2023, the number of crime per year was gradually decreasing. So we can show that the Malaysia safety is improved. And then I also do a bar plot for the total number of crime by type. Yeah, because here this is a category variable, so we have used the bar plot. This is of histogram. So we can show that the type of crimes of thief, vehicles, motorcycle have a highest values, while the types of crimes, which is the robbery, solo arm, has the lowest value in these X years. And then I do the two correlations. Bar plot. So it shows that the evidence that property crimes are more commonly than the assault. We can show that the property crimes is more than assault. And for instance, the crime type in break-in, which is the pink color, is not associated with the assault category, but has nearly 1 to something record under the property category. Okay, next we do the prediction using the machine learning. For the first type prediction, we use the KNN. So for the KNN, we convert the value, original value, to the dummy value. Means that the category type of data the machine cannot understand. It needs to convert to the 1 and 0. For example, the type of the crimes, it has assault and the property. So assault will turn to 1 and the property will turn to 0. For example, like here is the original data. It had assault and something. After it encode to 1010. So it turned to the numerical value to the dummy value by using the data transform. Then I define the target. Since the KNN model is supervised learning, so we need to define the target variable, which is the label data. So the label data then we need to find is the crime data. We need to find that whether the crime is assault or property. And then we do the normalized data to make all the data that distribute the same skills or same unit. This can avoid the bias or also the outliers. So after 10, we encode it, we do the normalize by using standardization or normalization, and if the value is turned to this all value distribute the same skills. Then we set the seeds and we split the data to the training set and the test set. Test data training is about 60%, 70%, and the test data is about 30%. Then we apply the KNN library, and KNN need to define the value of K, means that it will depend on the maximum voting of 3 that we have been set. And it shows that the KNN accuracy is about 9.6 and 0.99, means that you have 99% accuracy. And here is the confusion matrix. It detects true positive as 2649 and the true negative as 1821. There have some false detected as false class. We have totally have 23. So the total accuracy is here. And the other and then we do the some samples to test on the data set. Is it how many probability it can predict? So we choose the sample 20, 55, thousands, 1020, 50. After that, we do the prediction on it. So the sample, here is the example 2055, 1250 sample that we have used. And here is the actually category. For example, the sample 20 have the actual category about property. After we do the KNN model prediction, it predicts that this category as property also, and it provides the one, which is the 100% to go to the other samples. And another AI method we apply is the decision tree. So we also want to find we also want to predict what is the type of the crimes by using the stats, the total crimes, and the others related value to predict it. In same scope, we set the seed number, the data set for training, the data set for test, and we use the decision tree models, the function of the decision tree, and we test it. And finally, it gives it the accuracy about 1, means that it can predict 100% true instead of the KNN. So here's the confusion matrix for the decision tree. So we said that the true positive is 2650 and true negative is 1843, and there are no false predicted value, all the true one. Then I also do some specific the sample law to calculate the prediction. It can predict truly or wrongly, and how many probability is it? And then, so for example, sample 20, the actual class is the property, and it predicted also is property, and it provide the property 1. So we have two methods to predict the model, which we using the KNN and the decision tree. So decision tree provide the accuracy 1, which has higher than the KNN, because KNN is only 0.99. So in this case, decision tree is more reliable because it can perform more higher accuracy and can perform more accurate data and predict more accurate. That's all for us. Thank you.